sunny side.
92.3 Nigeria Info.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
All right, welcome back to the show. We're going to kickstart, like I said earlier, with affordable energy. Now, when we talk access to clean, modern energy services, we sometimes say it's an enormous challenge facing not just Nigeria, but the African continent, because energy is fundamental for every aspect of any society or sector, as it were. When you're talking about socioeconomic development or poverty eradication, you must mention energy, power supply. Well, according to reports today, about 50 to 60% of the Nigerian population does not have access to electricity, and there is no doubt that the present power crisis affecting the nation will persist until something is done practically by the government. And we're talking about diversifying, energy sources in domestic, commercial, and industrial sectors, and also adopt new available technologies to help in that sector. So we're going to be talking about how we can begin to access renewable, affordable energy when it comes to that supply in Nigeria. I've got a guest joining me via telephone, Dr. Wiebe Boer. He is the CEO All on Energy. Good afternoon. Right, Sandy, I lost him. I'm going to have to call him back. So we'll take a very quick break for that, and we'll kickstart the conversation. Don't go away.
Did you know? Did you know?
Did you know?
Did you know?
Did you know?
Did you know?
Did you know? Did you know?
Did you know?
Did you know? Bole and fish. Bole and fish is a Nigerian delicacy made of roasted plantain and fish. The meal is a special street food or roadside delicacy, which the capital of fish are readily available in Rivers State, which is a tropical rainforest food in rows, well roasted. The bole and fish ingredients only known to the one who thought. Remember, understand the bole fish sauce. There is a variant of bole and fish in some parts of Nigeria. In the western parts, it is known as bole, and it is served with ground nuts. However, a well-prepared bole and fish from Port Harcourt would leave you with a finger-licking experience and longing for more.
Did you know?
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 Did you know? Did you know?
Did you know?
Different ideologies.
Different perspectives.
Share your views on the sunny side.
92.3 Nigeria Info.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
All right, welcome back to the show. I've got my guests back on the line. Good afternoon, Dr. Wiebe.
Yeah, good afternoon. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for making the time to join me on the show.
All right, no problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, so for introductions, by way of introduction and laying foundation for this conversation, what would you say renewable energy is?
Renewable energy is energy where the fuel to generate the electricity is renewable, and it's not it's a resource like the sun for solar, or water like hydro, or wind, biomass. So the fuel is basically what you can get from nature and is always available.
Right. Now, this is a conversation that we have, and it's always met with a lot of skepticism because people feel in Nigeria we're not there yet. Why do you think that still is the conversation, especially at a time like this when the world has advanced in so many ways when you talk about energy?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really big and long question. We would need the whole day to really answer that. But let me just start with this. So first of all, Nigeria's on-grid energy mix is already about renewables because the power is generated by Kanji Dam, Shiroro Dam, and so on. So we have all the hydropower that's already part of the energy mix. So that's already there. But the big question really is why, in the process of trying to close the energy gap that most people suffer across Nigeria on a daily basis, whether at a residential level or at a corporate level, we normally divert to using diesel or petrol generators and instead of using solar. And this is really the question that doesn't make sense. Now, one of the reasons is that traditionally solar has been a more expensive upfront cost. And that is quickly changing because solar costs have come down substantially in the last 10 years, while diesel costs have gone up, and diesel generators, there's really no innovation. So the same product you're buying today is largely the same technology you bought 20 years ago. A solar system you're buying today is a completely different product than even 2 years ago in terms of technological advances. So product quality is getting better. Costs are going down, but the upfront cost is still slightly higher. And so a lot of people then, instead of making the investment decision to go with a solar system, they choose the generator that they're familiar with. And they're not factoring in the reality that with a generator, there's ongoing maintenance costs. You keep having to fuel it again and again, several times a week. And those costs add up. So there's no scenario where over a 5-year period at least, or even a 3-year period, a solar system doesn't pay itself back in terms of being less expensive and more economically viable than a diesel generator. It's just, as a population in Nigeria, we're not yet used to solar, and it's not yet widely available, and so people defer to what they're used to.
Yes, let's talk about the availability, like you mentioned. I mean, in other countries, African countries, you find them adopting solar energy as against, using fossil fuels. Why do you think we're still at that point where availability is still a problem?
Yeah, so I think what you see in African countries, maybe on a grid scale level, yes, you see like Egypt, you see Morocco moving ahead with solar and so on. You see Kenya with their the 800 megawatt wind farm up in Lake Turkana area, and South Africa obviously has a lot of solar that's on and off grid. And then in East Africa, there's a decent number of solar home systems, mini grids, that kind of thing. But and that's off grid. So when you go to off grid, Nigeria is actually pretty much on par with most markets. Off grid, and fast in Nigeria. It was difficult to get products even 2 years ago. Solar home systems are now readily available. There's so many different brands that are, selling these products in every corner of Nigeria. Mini grids are coming up all over the country. Commercial and industrial solar is becoming very widespread on, both industrials and government buildings. So it really is taking off at a pretty rapid rate, but it's still just not fast enough.
Yeah, especially for an economy like ours that depends solely or heavily on fossil fuels.
Or even, northern Canada near Arctic Circle. People there are used to much more abundant sunlight, much better sun radiation, solar radiation, every day of the year almost, and for 12 hours a day. That's way better than many of those northern countries that are using solar, not to use it in Nigeria. As long as the product and grid power prices, tariffs are going up, diesel and petrol. We're getting to a scenario very soon where the economics will be on par. The awareness will be there, the products will be available. So I think in the next 2 to 3 years we're going to be there. I think the most interesting, development is that in the last year or two, some of the major generator importers and distributors are themselves now actually adding solar to their own mix. And I think that's a way that you see, that this transition is indeed happening.
Right. Now, let's talk about government involvement in solar energy in Nigeria. In your own opinion and perhaps personal experience, how would you rate the government's interest or participation in the quest for solar energy in Nigeria?
Yeah, let's talk more broadly. I mean, on the on-grid side, I believe the government is still over-regulated. That's making it very difficult to transform the on-grid sector, but let's not focus on that. In off-grid, where solar energy has, I think, the best opportunity for success, because it can be, solar can be at a very small scale and also at a very large scale. So it's very apt for, filling the gaps very quickly. Also, solar can be installed immediately, that kind of thing. And in that regard, the government is actually doing very well. I would argue that one of the best sectors that this administration has developed, actually one of the areas this administration has done very well as well. And so, switched on. So, for administration and direct, grant support and so on, operational support is something their countries are looking to learn from. And so I think that tells you a lot about how well we're actually doing on this particular area.
But do you think we're having these conversations at the grassroots level? And how do you think we can bring this conversation and this awareness to the grassroots, wherein every Nigerian, or at least most Nigerians, are aware, familiar, accustomed, and receptive to the idea of solar energy? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, so I was asking, how do we bring this conversation about solar energy to the grassroots level, wherein at least 90% of Nigerians are familiar and receptive to the idea of using solar energy? Oh dear, the line is breaking. I'm going to have to call him back, so we're going to take a quick break for that. But remember, you can join the conversation. How do you think we can better access renewable energy, affordable energy, as a web emphasis in Nigeria? Do you think perhaps there is more that can be done in that sector? And what would you suggest be done to ensure that your locality, your local government area, your community has good access to clean energy supply? The phone lines will be open shortly, and you can keep your messages coming through on WhatsApp. The WhatsApp number is 0809-030-6416, and you can also call in live 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, 0817-923-0007, or 0817-923-0009. I've been speaking with Dr. Wiebe Boer, who is the CEO of All On Energy, and I'm going to try connect back, so stay tuned. Did you know?
Did you know? Did you know?
Did you know?
Did you know? Bole and fish. Bole and fish is a Nigerian delicacy made of roasted plantain and fish. The meal is a special street food or roadside delicacy, which the capital of Rivers State, Port Harcourt, has been identified with. As a matter of fact, Port Harcourt is now known as the capital of Bole and fish, as visitors who have heard of the delicacy always request for it as a treat. The ingredients that make up bole and fish, plantain and fish, are readily available in Rivers State, which is a tropical rainforest region. Plantain is a staple food in many tropical regions and easily grows in swampy areas. It could be prepared ripe or unripe and is either fried, boiled, smoked, or roasted. The many rivers in Rivers State make fish available for the bole and fish combination. Bole and fish is usually served with a hot and spicy palm oil sauce or stew, with secret ingredients only known to the one who prepares the sauce. Remember, palm oil was once the mainstay of the Nigerian economy, so it is no surprise that it's a constant for the bole and fish sauce. There is a variant of bole and fish in some parts of Nigeria. In the western parts, it is known as bole, and it is served with ground nuts. However, A well-prepared bole and fish from Port Harcourt would leave you with a finger-licking experience and longing for more.
Did you know?
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 Did you know? Did you know?
Did you know?
Welcome back to the show. Hopefully I have my guest back on. Dr. Wiebe, can you hear me? Are you there? Sadly, I lost him again. Sadly. I'm going to have to try one more time, I guess. And I hope it goes through this time. All right, but we do have some comments on Twitter and Facebook. Remember, we're streaming live on there, so you can watch as you comment on Twitter. Peter Amos says, we can't because of politicians who are the ones behind the sabotage. They generate business and won't eradicate them first. On Facebook, we have quite a number of messages. Abasiofiok Sunday says, God knows that affordable energy here in Nigeria is by the grace of God. Solo King Ora says, what Nigeria do you refer to? Precious Onyekachi says, when we stop to supply electricity to other countries. All right, so I'll try reconnect with my guest, and we'll get right back.
When knowledge meets action, information liberates. Tune in to 92.3 Nigeria Info. Catch us online on Twitter and Instagram at Nigeria Info PH. On Facebook at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. Drop a comment, like, and share posts from your number one news talk and sports radio station, 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Our freedom depends on our proactive responsibilities.
Let's talk, act, and be about development.
With one voice, our potential is realized. This is your number one news, talk, and sports radio station. 92.3 Nigeria Info. I am listening.
Are you up to date with ideas for sustainability?
Nigeria Info serves you opportunities
to ask great questions,
contribute solutions,
and transform society for the better.
I'm listening. Are you?
We connect you to the world. We connect you to the vicinity. We are Nigeria Info.
Listen to me, I said this is a real situation and the government has to do something about it. You try to insinuate all these people looting Nigeria's money?
This is Nigeria Info, in the heart of Nigeria. 92.3. We are Nigeria Info.
Different ideologies.
Different perspectives.
Share your views on the sunny side.
92.3 Nigeria Info.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
We connect you to the world. We connect you to the vicinity. We are Nigeria Info.
Listen to me. I said this is a real situation and the government has to do something about it. You try to insinuate all these people looting Nigeria's money?
This is Nigeria Info in the heart of Nigeria. 92.3. We are Nigeria Info.
Right, so I got my guest thankfully back on radio. Dr. Wiebe, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Finally, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for taking the time out to be here.
All right, no problem. Okay, what was the latest question? I couldn't hear you before.
Yes, so the last question I was trying to ask was, how do we bring this conversation about solar energy and its benefits down to the grassroots level, wherein people in our local communities, in our local government areas are familiar with and are receptive to the idea of solar power?
Well, I think we need to do these interviews on Wazobia instead so that grassroots hears it. But no, in all seriousness, one of the problems is that at a very local level, the only connection most people have had in Nigeria with solar are sort of government or donor projects that we call political solar, that were like some little solar project, maybe a little bit of street lighting, and usually that stuff failed, right? And it failed because they were just flash projects. They actually had no intent to actually install proper equipment. Right. And so the typical Nigerian actually it doubts whether solar actually works, and this is something we really have to overcome. And so at the grassroots level, where money is hard to come by, disposable income is limited. If you know that I put a certain amount of money into my generator, I can get a certain amount of power. It's something you know and you're aware of. It's a thing you can manage. But if you're asked to now, okay, put money instead into a solar system that you're a little unsure of whether it will really work, how it works, you might just choose what you're familiar with, even if it's a slightly higher cost. So we as an industry need to do a lot more to let people at the grassroots know what solar is, what it can do, the benefits, how it's safer, lower cost, healthier, better for the environment, all of those things. And that in the end they actually get a very, good kind of power source at eventually a much lower cost. So that's really what the industry has to do. And so we actually need, high-profile people, politicians, influencers like you, other people on your station, and we need people, who are, well-known, sort of at that grassroots level to actually test it and try solar and then speak for it. And we're actually working on some of that, and some of that will be coming up soon. But I think, we all need to kind of try and help make this happen. The way that cell phones really took off 20 years ago in Nigeria was because it was a status symbol. And so, at that time it was very expensive even to get a SIM card. Phones were really expensive. Only the very rich could have it. And so when it now became affordable, it was a status symbol. About, even though everyone has a phone, it's still a thing of pride to some extent. So we need to figure out how to break the association of a big generator as being a status symbol that people aspire to, and instead make it what you aspire to a really good solar system. And that's a transition that we have to make, and it's not a quick one, but it's a little more.
Right. All right. So let's have your final thoughts. Sadly, most of our time is gone, but let's have your final thoughts on the conversation.
All right.
Can you hear me now?
Not really.
Oh dear, the line is terrible, terrible. But thank you so much for making the time, Dr. Wiebe. I've been speaking to Dr. Wiebe Boer. He's the CEO of All On Energy here in Nigeria, and we've been talking about how we can access affordable energy right here. The phone lines are open. We've got about 6 minutes left on the conversation, so let's talk. 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, 0817-923-0007, or 0817-923-0009. The question is, how do you think we can access affordable energy here in Nigeria, wherein we take advantage of renewable energy for every single Nigerian and not have to literally pay through our noses? The WhatsApp number is 0809-030-6416, 0809-030-6416. We're on Twitter and Facebook, so you can join the conversation on there. On Facebook at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH, on Twitter at Nigeria Info PH. Good afternoon. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Is it Nigeria Info?
Yes, it is. Go ahead.
Okay. My name is Mr. Henry from Port Harcourt.
Right.
How we can make our light available is in the hands of our leaders, because they know what to do. Some of them, all these importers of listers, transformers, generators, they sponsor this. They follow their force.
Oh dear. Please do call back if you have the time to. Well, let's take some messages on Facebook. On Facebook, Nancy Alex says, the bill for 1 month could pay bride price. Well, bride price in some areas, in some parts of the country, as low as 120 naira. So, yeah, if you're paying 120 naira as your per bill, don't you think that's fair? Anyway, Augustine Anyanwu says, if not by electing credible leaders that care for the welfare of her citizens, affordable energy in Nigeria is an illusion. It cannot be by the grace of God. But by the grace of God, he says. Adindo Orji also says, only by God's grace. Precious Onyekachi says, when we stop to supply, oh yeah, I took that earlier, to other countries. Paul, and wrap the conversation up. We're out of time. Go ahead.
How can an individual get this solar energy? So, from this of things, for like 3 days now, we've not had light here in Kalakaya. How do we get the solar stuff? How do we about it?
Okay, I could barely make out what you were saying, but thanks for calling regardless. Thank you. Our time is up, sadly. I'll take just one message on WhatsApp. The new prepaid meters, when they share, no be small money them take from us. How much more of this? All right. It's 1 o'clock in 4 minutes. Right after the news update at the top of the hour, we'll have further conversations. And I'd like to pick your brain on a particular question. I'm Gabriella. Don't go away.